So I'll try my best to make this brief. But we had spent 3 days in Sonoma already, done a bunch of tastings, stayed at a bunch of different vineyards, and we arrived to our first day in Napa. First day in Napa, we're staying at Ehlers. We're supposed to stay there for 2 nights. They have a guest house on property. Really, honestly, awesome, beautiful vineyard, beautiful landscape, the whole thing. We arrive to the tasting room. We walk in. Everyone's busy. They're talking to other guests. Eventually, someone comes up to us and they say, "Hey, how can we help you?" I'm like, I'm Jared. We're going to be staying with you guys for a couple nights. They're like, "Oh, that's awesome." Well, the keys on the counter. You guys just go ahead back there. The keys are already on the counter. You just go through this door. It's right there. That's odd. In Napa, that does not happen.
Right. Like, go help yourself.
It's a hospitality city.
Right.
That's not how that felt. It felt like they were just like, "You guys got it. You go ahead and handle that." So my wife and I find that odd, but whatever. We got a whole day of tasting ahead of us. So we leave. We head out. We go. We hit Heights that day. We hit Hall that day. We hit Chapelet that day. We had a really full schedule. Drive back. We come back in. And my wife says to me, "Man, that was weird that they just left the key for us." I was like, "Yeah, I thought so too. That was really weird."
Yeah.
And then we move on, right? No AC. We're there in, I want to say we were there in like sometime in the summer. I don't want to define what month it was, but it was not cool.
Yeah.
It was pretty warm still. And the house was hot. You know, it's not uncommon in Napa Valley to not have central air. So we ate dinner outside instead of going in the house because we knew eventually we were going to have to. And we opened all the windows in the house to try to get some cross air.
That's the European way, man.
Hey, listen, I'm not used to it. Yeah. I'm not used to it. Not built for it at all.
No, I hear you.
So we we're having our dinner, and this cat shows up. You know, it's a vineyard cat, not uncommon at all. Vineyard cats and dogs are great. They keep the rodents away and the animals away. So we were like, "Oh, wow." And this cat would not leave us alone at all. We tried to go inside the house. Cat tried to follow us into the house. Whole thing, like literally, it's like attached to us at this point. So we get in the house. Cat's not there. We decide we're gonna sleep in this back room. It's a old school shotgun house. You walk in, and you can see from the front of the house all the way to the back of the house from the front. Right. So we're sleeping back there, and sleeping is a loose term. We're definitely not sleeping. And my wife, you know, as wives do, reaches over and smacks me. It's like slaps me on the chest. Says, "Jared, I can feel your energy. Stop it." And I'm like, "Honey, I'm just trying. That's not me. I feel what you feel. I feel, and I've got my headphones on. I'm not even trying to think about it because I thought that I was overreacting." I get less than 30 minutes of sleep that night because it felt like there was a constant presence, right? And then the cat.
That's weird. She said that and you felt the same thing too.
Yeah.
That's creepy.
Creepy. The cat is literally outside the window, meowing, like almost like it's trying to alert us to something.
Or talk to somebody or something.
Yeah, I tell you, man. Yeah, scary.
That's
anyway,
creepy, man.
All of a sudden, we hear this rustle. I hear this rustle. My wife's asleep. I hear a rustle. Cat, like jets. You can hear it. Jet. Gone. That's what keeps me up for the rest of the night. So I maybe slept 30 minutes. I wake up at like ass crack of dawn, man, 6 a.m. at the latest. Probably closer to 5:30. Make breakfast, make coffee, pots on. I'm sitting in the front yard. And I look to my right, dead rat at the front door. Like a present for us.
The cat.
The cat left.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? Like, nah, I'm not gonna allow this to ruin my day. We gotta stay here tonight. This is a free place. Don't think about it. Wife gets up. She's like, "Man, that was weird last night, huh?" And I was like, "Absolutely. Yes, but let's not even think about it. Let's go out. We have a great day planned." First tasting of the day was Ehlers, place that we were staying. First question that they ask us, "How'd you sleep?" But not in a "how'd you sleep" like normal
conversational.
No,
it's
it
like
was "how'd you sleep" as a question, right?
What?
It was "how did you sleep?" Oh, well, and
So
in
how'd
my mind,
so how'd you sleep?
Yeah, in my mind, it was let's just say fine and move on. And my wife was not, she was curious, had to ask, had to know. So she says, not very good. It felt like there was like something going on in there all night. And the guy's eyes light up like he can't wait to tell us the story, right? So he says, Ehlers, it's an old property. We had a lot of things happen here. And in my mind, I'm like, Hannah, that's my wife's name. Please don't ask this man what happened here. Just don't ask him. I don't want to know.
Surely
what
she
happened?
Yeah.
So this guy, before we taste any wines, this guy goes in to tell us. He's like, my first day at Ehlers, there's a housekeeper, a woman groundskeeper, but she does all the property. So she does the tasting room, she does the hospitality suite, she cleans, puts towels, the whole thing. She got to the door of where you guys stayed last night, the hospitality suite, and she did a quick prayer. I speak a little bit of Spanish. I've been here in Napa my whole life, so I knew she was praying, but I didn't know what she was saying. So I asked her, I said, man, why are you praying? And she says, well, there's a girl that I see here pretty often, and I just want her to know that I'm bringing you in and that there's nothing for her to worry about. And he's like, what?
Dude, no way in hell I would have stayed there knowing that.
Well, I didn't know. That's the thing. I had no idea.
You should put that on the. Let us know before we.
That should be in the small print. 100%.
This place is haunted, so then come for the wine. Come for the haunting, stay for the wine.
That's right. And honestly, like I'm so happy that I didn't know because I would not have stayed there. Just like you said, I wouldn't have stayed there.
What's this girl's story? Do you know it?
I got the whole thing. I'll give you because he did not spare a single detail.
Yeah.
Right? So out of curiosity, this guy has a friend that works for the Napa Library downtown, right? Goes to the friend and says, hey, do you know anything about the Ehlers property? She's like, funny you should ask. I'm working on a piece right now. Like I'm working on pulling a bunch of information in, a research piece to talk about the history of a bunch of the wineries in Napa. Ehlers is on that list. And he was like, oh, can I see that? He's like, well, I'm not supposed to show you that yet, but sure. You're my friend. I'll show you. So while they're flipping through the pages, there's this little girl that pops up. And he's like, what's the story here? And, oh, man, even still, I could feel it. I could feel that weird energy. So she says to him, oh, this is one of the little girls. This is a little girl that went missing. She was part of the Ehlers family that founded that property. And he was like, oh, she went missing. What happened? They think that she drowned in the body of water that's behind the property at the property edge. And there's a missing sign for her, right? So he's like, I need a photocopy of that. So next day he goes to work, talks to this housekeeper, groundskeeper woman, says, hey, can you tell me what this girl looked like? So she describes her this way. She's wearing black shoes. She's got those ruffled socks on, right? Hop sack dress, pigtails. He pulls a picture out of his bag, shows her. She quits the next day.
Oh, man, that just gave me the chills.
She quits the next day. She could not. She was just like, absolutely not, right?
But she knew, she felt a presence and she could see it. But
she could see it. She said that she could see it. Wow. That she would see the little girl around property. She didn't say that, like, she felt.
She didn't know the background.
She didn't know the background.
Oh, she thought it was a girl.
She knew, yeah.
She didn't know that it was a spirit? Or?
No, she knew.
Okay.
She knew there was a spirit, but she was obviously comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Right? She was very much comfortable with it, but the fact it hit too close to home, right?
It's giving me chills, man.
Man, dude, I tell you. So then he goes on to say, there's if you walk into that into the suite, right? You walk into the hospitality suite and you look straight, you can see to the room you slept in. On the right-hand side, there's doors that are locked. And I was like, I don't open doors. That's not what I do. If it doesn't feel like it, if it wasn't open, it doesn't need to be open.
Right.
So he says one of those doors has this really small, narrow, 4-foot by 2-foot walkway. It's a stairwell. And I was like, where does it go? That's what my mind says. And my wife goes, where does it go? Of course.
She's the voice of reason.
She's the voice of reason. Yeah. So, it goes to where their bedroom used to be, right? So there's 2 or 3 beds up there. They've never replaced them. Don't ask me why. Never replaced them. There's still children's clothes in that space up there. I don't know this for a fact. Obviously, I've never been up there, but that's what was said, right? And there was a Thanksgiving, like a Friendsgiving thing thrown. And a bunch of sommeliers were welcomed to it, and some winemakers, so on and so forth. There were 14 people or so invited to it. They've got a big dining room table in the middle of this space. And one person was late. So as happens in food and beverage, you get caught with the last guest of the night, or you're just running late, or whatever the reason is. Person pulls up to the house and walks in and says, "Hey, who's messing with the lights upstairs?" What? Huh? What are you talking about? What lights upstairs? There is no stairs. He says, "No, someone is turning the lights on and off upstairs." And I was just, in my mind, my body is trying not to just scream. I'm just trying to not scream. I'm just sitting there in front of this man saying, why are you telling me all this?
Yeah.
Well, supposedly that is not an uncommon thing at this property. Supposedly they feel like she's home. That's where she lived.
Oh, dude, that's just freaky, man.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've told that story, I don't know, probably 6 or 7 times now.
Yeah.
Not more than that, way more than that. But every time I tell it, I can feel it again.
Yeah.
I can feel it again. But it speaks to something way outside of wine, right?
Yeah.
It speaks to how history and wine are intertwined, and these places that we go, these vineyards that we've gone to, they've seen wars, they've seen countless amount of death, they've seen people, endless amounts of generations, and there's
1800s or before even then, yeah.
So having it be a part of wine culture is not weird.
Right.
That's a reality. It's just the